Before moving into our ATC Toy Hauler full-time, we decided to do an experiment, and I'm going to share what we learned. These are things you may or may not have considered if you're thinking about moving into a travel trailer or other type of RV full-time. My hope is that our experience will help you if you're embarking on a similar journey. That's me. I'm Jessica. If we haven't met, I'm usually behind the camera. So what we decided to do was book a campsite locally for a couple of nights. It was sort of a practice run, and we did this for a few reasons. First, we wanted to test the hookups and make sure that everything's working okay before we hit the road, because we're going to be driving across the country. It was also an opportunity to get a feel for what it will be like to live in this space and see if anything comes up that we feel we need to do, change, or buy before we leave. New Hampshire, where we're from, is a tax-free state, so it's more beneficial for us to make purchases we absolutely know we need to make before we leave, especially those bigger ticket items. It all started with us moving our belongings in little by little with each trip we took to the storage facility where our RV was parked. We didn't move everything in, but we definitely packed more than we needed for 2 nights at a local campground. The reason is so we could assess how much space we'll have to work with and potentially what will fit and what won't fit that we still haven't moved in, so we can plan what to do with it, whether it's selling, donating, storing with family, taking it with us and storing it at our storage unit in Arizona, or just keeping it. Okay, so what did we learn from this experiment? First of all, the stock mattress that our ATC Toy Hauler came with is definitely more comfortable than I thought. Well, not by itself, but with a mattress topper, it definitely works for us for now. I was initially unsure if this mattress topper would be sufficient, but the good news is I didn't have any trouble falling asleep and didn't wake up with sore muscles and joints like I normally would on a firm mattress. But that doesn't mean I slept great, because I didn't. Let me explain why, because it has to do with the second thing we learned, which is we need additional stabilizer jacks. My husband's been waking up a few hours earlier than I do, and even with him walking around in the kitchen making breakfast, had the trailer shaking like a ship during a storm, and I could not sleep. So as you can see, additional stabilizer jacks went to the top of the list as soon as we got home. The third thing we learned was about the furnace and turning it on for the first time. Someone left a helpful comment on one of my videos, thank you by the way, recommending that we run the furnace for a few hours while we're not occupying the inside of our toy hauler. Boy, was he right. The problem was we got so caught up in a million other things that we never got around to doing it before our first overnight. And of course it ended up being super cold that night, and I spent the wee hours of the morning choking and coughing non-stop while the heat was on. So if you have the opportunity to run your furnace for a few hours while you're not in it, I recommend it, especially if you have issues with asthma or allergies or any breathing issues. The fourth thing that I learned was an answer to a question that I had about towels. How many is too many to have when you're full-timing? The answer came on the first morning we woke up at the campsite. There was condensation everywhere, so to have extra towels was super handy. It had gotten pretty cold the night before we turned on the heat, so we spent the morning wiping down the windows, and we're even more excited about our plans to head to a warmer, drier climate. So I guess the answer is, at least for me, as many towels as I can fit. Number 5, the shower. The shower was way better than I thought it was going to be. I was really nervous because we have a 6-gallon hot water tank and I'm used to taking long showers. I have long, thick hair that takes a long time to shampoo and condition, so I was thinking we were going to need a tankless water heater. The shower experience has been great, and with how the bathroom warms up so fast when you turn the heat on, it's not painful when you have to shut the water off between rinsing. So I'm really glad that we evaluated things firsthand and not made assumptions with an expensive purchase. The 6th thing I learned is that the off-gassing in our bedroom is worse than I initially thought it was. And how I noticed was after our 2-night local camping trip, I brought blankets home to wash, and when I took them out of the bag, I was instantly greeted with that smell. So even though I've been taking precautions to not add more off-gassing to this bedroom, I still feel like I have some work to do in here to cleanse the air. And since it was cold during our camping trip, we didn't really have the windows open a whole lot. But I will definitely be keeping the windows open much more when we head to a warmer climate, and I'm also going to buy some plants that help absorb formaldehyde from the air, which I mentioned in another video that I made about creating better air quality in the bedroom. I will leave that in the description below for you if you want to watch that. And if you've already taken your maiden voyage, please share what was something that you learned.